When Greg Bay stripped to show his wares, it didn't seem to have quite the same effect.
The problem is core injuries. The solution is core shorts.
Oh my God, he's gonna strip.
You know what? This is a garment, you can't look at it, you have to see it. You have to see it work. Yeah, you know, it's all about touchy-feel.
Don't want to be personal, but you look a bit dorky in that with the collar and tie.
You're absolutely right.
It's the collar and tie that's done it.
We need to bring some sex into it. Okay.
But one product proved that even the Canadian Dragons have a bashful streak, as Peter and Edna found out when they came in with their intimate exercise DVD for couples.
Fit2Touch is the first total body workout DVD specifically designed for couples.
We've seen so many different exercising machines that hang out of walls, but that was just two people saying, hey, look, here's a way you can get closer and get some exercise at the same time.
We actually became a couple working on this program.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked.
Kind of hard not to.
Our journey across the globe takes us to Russia next, home to a multi-millionaire dragon who didn't invest throughout an entire series.
Здравствуйте. Мы начинаем программу «Капитал».
Renamed Capital to signify being at the center of the financial world, cultural ideas were common, but investable ideas were a little harder to come by.
They were either old-fashioned Soviet-style mad scientists with idiotic ideas who were not even invited to work in the West, or young Russian crooks.
The
ideas in Capital were completely unusual. Entrepreneurs were offering many different products and services, but also old scientific projects that had been forgotten for many years.
находились где-то в залежах, в запасах.
Этот аппарат является динамически подобной летающей модели.
Business people in Russia have a pretty bad reputation these days because the Russian economy, when they came out of communism in the former Soviet Union, was one really of the Wild West, and it's not been entirely dispelled by the facts.
Есть международные агентства.
There are plenty of international agencies producing reports. You can find information about corruption in Russia in them. And unfortunately, we are there among African states.
But the producers here in Russia wanted Capital to prove that business and entrepreneurialism didn't have to be linked to corruption.
From the very beginning, we were aware that our function was to show that business in Russia could work, and that businessmen had human faces.
Even if we realized that we would not invest in the idea, we still gave advice about how to run a successful business.
One pitch that took place particularly incensed the dragons.
Лучший проект третьего тысячелетия. Мир вздрогнет.
Actor Vladimir Permyakov came in with his business partner, wanting backing for a new film. He'd previously been hired to appear in a notorious ad campaign, promoting a stock market investment company.
Этими самыми роликами вы обманули полстраны и заложили отношение к предпринимателям как к таковым.
Кто мы, извиняюсь?
Ну вот.
Не надо обвинять
именно это лицо, да? Заложили отношение к предпринимательству как к таковому, как к потенциальным жуликам. Приятно.
Millions of Russians were defrauded of their savings, and despite having nothing to do with the scam, unfortunately it was Vladimir's face that is forever associated with it.
I demanded to know how it happened. In Russia, business is already associated with crime, and I didn't want to make it worse.
Вот, и нахождение вот сейчас в одном зале вот с товарищем, честно говоря, вот абсолютно неприятно.
Вы можете выйти.
Это вы можете выйти.
In fact, Yevgeny was completely disillusioned by the quality of ideas he saw in the den.
I am the only one never to invest a kopeck in any of the ideas during the entire series.
All the dragons sign contracts saying that we must invest in some of the ideas. But on the show, I saw Yevgeny saying no, 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 no all the time. I liked that. It was like a school for me, where I really learned to say no with dignity to an investment project. This is my money, and I have a lot of ideas myself.
Эти деньги для меня. И у меня много своих идей.
Whilst there was harmony amongst the Russian investors, elsewhere it's those moments of dragon discord that have entertained millions of viewers around the world. Infighting amongst dragons has now become an international spectator sport, and Australia provided plenty of it.
Hello Dragons, my name's Jake Alberts. I'm from the Gold Coast. I'm 19 tomorrow.
Here it was the two female investors who were at the centre of one of the biggest arguments of the series.
So it's really interesting that there was two women, and whilst we were supposed to support each other, it didn't really happen. There was a really sort of competitiveness about us too.
College dropout Jake found himself caught up in the crossfire whilst bidding for investment into his surfing-inspired perfume.
You need to go back to school and get a degree in business.
But Serena, a lot of successful business people have never earned a degree. I don't have a degree.
I don't either.
And I'm expressing my opinion.
And I understand.
And am I allowed to do that?
You are allowed to do
Can
that.
I continue?
Yeah, but just don't take her opinion.
Thank you. That's great. So I've only been doing it for 26 years. I'm glad you're saying that.
There was a massive competition. It was a...
Hang on.
In fact, you're saying that after 26 years of success in education, you're now saying to Jake not to take any
My
advice
business is
from me.
education.
And it was the cringeability factor for us, and quite often I'd look over at Peter Higgins and just wink and have a bit of a chuckle while we're all sitting in the chair.
So education doesn't stop when you leave school.
Can I just finish?
Please do.
And please allow me to continue. Thank you.
When you get 5 big egos of reasonably successful people in a room, the bonfire is going to light a lot of fireworks.
Please allow me to continue. Thank you. So back to you.
Oh, that was fun.
Canadian dragon Kevin O'Leary has a deserved reputation amongst the entrepreneurs for his no-nonsense approach, but he's quite happy to unleash his wrath on his fellow dragons too.
I think I was called a bozo once by one of my colleagues.
Away with some of my colleagues, and I understand that. They've got to make a living too.
And compete with us. Why be a bozo?
Well, I was first.
Kevin believes he has to control an entity. 50-51% is important to him. He's really focused on an exit strategy. He's focused on cash flow. I'm much more interested in the people.
My concern with Brett is he's not greedy enough. And so what he's doing is undermining my ability to grab the last ounce of value out of every opportunity. He's hurting me that way. He's more generous. I see no reason to be that way. I mean, the whole idea is to make more money, not less money.
Over in Finland, the rivalry was taken to a whole new level. Collectively, the dragons had all agreed to invest in this entrepreneur's food refrigeration company. But as soon as he left the den, their recollection about how the shares were to be divided differed greatly.
Lisa.
5 tonnia. Mä haluan käyttää...
Tasaosuuksilla.
Mä en taivu painostuksia, kun mä tuossa kameran edessä sanoin, että 5 tonnia, niin se on siinä.
Se on raaka peli, kun sut on jyrännyt.
Nyt 4 pannaan tasaosuuksiin se.
Ei, kun mä sanoin, että mä lähden vähemmistöosuudella. Mä laitan 5 tonnia tähän.
They just completely murdered a poor entrepreneur and took 80% of his business. In fact, there was no reason for him to get up in the morning. And after they'd taken 80% of his business, they were having a punch-up between themselves.
Tää ei toimi näin.
The impasse was so great, they even called back the entrepreneur to find out whether he could remember what was agreed.
Eli minun näkemys on tässä asiassa. Me tehtiin diili 4 hengellä tasaosuuksin 80%, hintaan 60 tonnia.
Eero, sä oot aivan väärässä, se ei mennyt näin.
Mä oon erittäin harvoin tällaisissa asioissa väärässä. En edes muista edellistä kertaa.
Sä yrität nyt käyttää vanhuuden mukanaan tuomaan auktoriteettiin, mutta mä en sitä niele.
After more than 5 minutes of on-screen wrangling, Lisa backed down. Age had triumphed over youth.
Tehdään kauppa tasaosuuksista, ja mä en tee sitä sen takia, että mä antaisin periksi teille, vaan sen takia, että mä uskon tähän kaveriin.
Joo, silloin mehän alun perin ehdotettiin, että kaikki lähtee tasaosuuksiin.
Piste.
Mitä?
Piste. Noniin, uudet kättelyt. Ylös tuolista.
Kiitoksia. Rauhan maassa ihmisessä hyvä tahto.
Kiitoksia.
Onnea.